Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in beautiful and sunny and awesome Santa Cruz, California. I cannot oversell it enough. What a great weekend it was. You guys, I find it just to be like we have that perfect weather so often where it's just cold enough that you can wear all the gear you need to do without getting overheated.
That is true.
I love it so much. So let's say who is here with us tonight. Hey, everyone. This is Liza. Don't look at me when I'm inside of you.
Oh, that's gross.
I brought back that old chestnut. And joining us from her library, it's Miss Emma.
Hello, darling. Here I am in Marina, California, and my name is Emma, and don't look at me when I'm raiding your refrigerator.
I don't understand.
They don't call me Emma Fridge Bod for nothing.
All right.
Emma the ice chest.
Yes.
Coming to us from his shack, it's Naked Jim.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey.
Yeah, beautiful day in Santa Cruz. Peace, love, and dirt bikes.
I knew you were going to say that.
I can never think anything else. I never think about it.
It's good. It's your thing.
Go to. It is now. It's easy.
Stick with the stick, as they say.
Mhm.
Yes, and everybody's favorite ginger, it's Bagel.
Greetings from Oregon, where spring has sprung.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Well, we are going to be there soon, so we will get to experience it.
Yeah.
And joining us once again, our number one stunt misfit is Stumpy John.
Hey, I guess Stumpy's it, huh? Wow.
You know what? It works.
Yeah.
I disagree. I was going with Lefty. I like Lefty.
Lefty.
Fuck it. Why not? Right? I'm going to call you Lefty from now on.
All right. This is Lefty John, Stumpy Left John. I don't know, something like that. As long as I'm not meatball, I'm good.
Hey, raise your hand if you went for a ride this weekend. Ooh. Bagel, you didn't get out for a ride?
No, I've been busy with other things, particularly taxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Emma, I think we should start every show with the MotoTown update. Is there an update?
Yes. Well, since the last show, my compressor is in. Yeah, and I was very, very lucky. Somebody donated a giant compressor, and I
heard it's steam powered.
It looks like steam powered. Giant. It, as you said so eloquently, Jim, it looks like the pulleys belong on a
ski lift.
A ski lift.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge thing, and the best part is it used to belong at the original British Motors in downtown Monterey.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and when they changed location in like 1980, and the service manager, they were giving it away. They gave away all the equipment because when they moved into their current location, when they moved into their current location, they got all new equipment. So the service manager got it 40 years ago, and he's just had it in his garage since then. He said, well, it hasn't really run. So I said, okay, well, and so I got that, and that was a bit challenging because it's 220 volts. So I had to figure out how 220 works, but I figured it out.
It's easy. You plug in two outlets into one.
Well, that's basically how it works. And so I got that working, and then I got my tire machine in, which, if you remember, was a donation.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy son of a bitch. That's what I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, like a monster.
Yeah, I'm still recovering from that thing.
But it works great, and it's hydraulic and pneumatic, and it works really, really well. Everything's hard lined in. I've got my electricity where I want it. You see, my workbench is going to be in the middle of the floor and everything's above my head. So if I want air or want electricity or I want fuel, I just reach above my head and kind of pull it down, kind of plug it into the bike.
If that's the case, may I recommend some extra strong deodorant?
Yes. And I'm going to have to start shaving my armpit for when I'm only going to shave my right one.
Just your right arm. That's your reaching arm.
Yeah, that's my reaching arm. I like the European look on the left one, darling. But my right one's going to be the one that's on display of the public, and I don't want to display the rug. You know,
You should just get a tattoo of Valentino Rossi under there.
I
Just
should.
a little Valentino face.
Well, you know that little angry face, Emma? I should get a tattoo of that. So, I mean, it's getting there. I'm no closer to opening because I'm still waiting for my... Yes, you see, there you are. There's the tattoo. I'm still waiting for my licence from the City of Marina. So, you know, I'm figuring I'm going to be actually open and running for the 1st of May. That's my startup date.
Well, I told you I have a surprise coming to help decorate your shop.
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled.
I'm
so
very excited.
we're going to the one show, which is the last weekend of
April 30th and May 1st and 2nd.
Through the 2nd of May, and we'll be traveling back on the Monday, which is the 3rd, and so Tuesday's really going to be my first work day. And I've got a full day of work already.
And let's just say, because that was one of the announcements I was going to make about the one show. As we said before, you're going to be showing your bike there, El Tubbo, and you're going up with, I believe, Mike McCarthy and John Dalton.
Yep. So I got way back, last fall, I got a notification from the one show saying that we're not going to do an in-person show this year because of the pandemic. Would you, if you're interested, submit your bike digitally and we'll have a digital show? So I submitted it. And they obviously liked the bike and they changed their mind. So rather than have it in February, which is usually when they actually hold it, they obviously moved it back until the end of April, giving a lot of people have a chance to have their vaccinations and God knows what. And so I got a notification saying, look, we really like your bike. If you want to drag it up there and show it. And I would love that because we've been up to the one show how many times, Liza?
Well, Jim, I think, has been the most, right?
How many times, Jim?
4 or 5, something like that. 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5 times. And this is the first time one of the Misfits has had an opportunity to actually show one of the bikes up there.
And it's one of the better Misfits, too.
I'm not sure whether do we rate the Misfits in order of better and worse? I mean,
better bike builder Misfits. Though Mike could
maybe most experienced. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because I'm not sure I like the word better. Because if I'm a better Misfit, that indicates that there's a worser Misfit. And I'm not sure I like that.
Oh, you definitely rank higher than I do.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got the rankings of all the Misfits actually, and I did a whole poll behind your backs. You didn't realize and get everybody.
Well, I mean,
and just to find out who had better. Well, I mean, you notice that Mike's gone, right? And Knock, he's gone. He's out of here. He ranked really low.
Oh, I see.
No,
this is drawn from public opinion.
Of course, we kept Bagel because he got actually was voted most cuddliest.
Aww.
Most kissable.
Which we still have to Bagel. We still have to figure this out. What's the one show? If you want a prize, I still say you got to find Bagel and kiss a ginger.
No kissing in a pandemic. Just no.
Wait, what if they kiss? Not like your something else, your elbow.
I'm just not okay with the whole thing.
Okay. Then how about this?
How about you
Can you
introduce
can you
yourself
bring
to
a
Bagel
piece
and
of
say
ginger
hi?
with you? and they got to eat a piece of ginger.
Oh.
Eat a piece of fine bagel. Eat a piece of ginger.
Hmm.
You get a prize.
Are we talking like Japanese sushi ginger or
Like
what?
bring a stock of ginger. I don't know. We'll come up with
That's
something.
No, don't they do those nice ginger chews? Those nice
Ooh.
ginger chews.
Yeah,
Those
that
things
could
are
be one.
delicious. So
Yeah.
no,
So officially Jim and I are also attending. So there's going to be a bucket full of misfits there.
so basically what we're saying, Liza, is if you are in the Pacific Northwest, go to the one show, hang out with us.
Mhm.
It's always a groovy time. And vote for Tubbo, because Tubbo is a very, very worthy recipient of something.
Now, I don't know if you
Pinkiest
guys
bike.
I don't know if you looked into it, but I'm pretty excited. So you remember the earlier one shows was in that old factory that just
Yes.
kind of had this like real rustic
Yes.
industrial feel.
Yes.
And then it moved to that arena. Well, this year it's gone back to even more rustic. It's called the Zidell Barge Building. And up until just a few years ago, it was this giant open air shipbuilding warehouse that they built barges on and then launched off. And that's where it's going to be. So this is an old industrial building that just shut down the business just a few years ago. And
How old's this information?
What?
Because I thought it was somewhere else.
It's on their website right now.
Oh, okay. So it's
And
current.
so they have outdoor vendors and then they're going to have stuff inside. It looks like a great place. And I think it'll get that feel that they had in that like apocalyptic industrial thing. So I'm really looking
brilliant.
forward to it.
Cool.
Yeah. So either way, look for us up at the one show, and I'll be carrying around some little prizes. We did some riding. Jim, you want to give us a report? You went down to Carrizo Plains with the boys.
Oh yeah. So it was a good weekend. You guys have been down there before, right? Yeah. So it was interesting. So I went with Breaking Away Matt, and as we've had Matt on before, he does really cool motorcycle adventure tours. So he had a tour going down to Carrizo Plains and asked me if I wanted to tag along, and I said, sure, why not? It sounds like fun. Because I do so much riding by myself. I'm like, hey, why not ride with other people? And it'd be a chance to take those here, the cat.
Your cat wants food. He's right behind you.
I know. Yeah, I know. He'll be there for. Yeah. Hi, kitty.
Feed the cat.
So
Feed the cat.
I can't multitask. I'm tired. Yeah. So anyway, Matt does these tours, and he's got a great lineup. So Breaking Away Motorcycle Tours.
Breaking Away Adventures.
I'm sorry, Breaking Away Adventures. He's got a lot of tours lined up for the rest of the year. Really, some BDR stuff, night sky stuff in New Mexico that sounds pretty interesting. So definitely check it out. But yeah, Matt does a great job. He kind of finds these really out of the way places to go. So Carrizo Plains is a national monument. It's in the very southern tip of San Luis Obispo County. So you're kind of on the back side of the mountains of Santa Barbara. Very dry. And it's where sometimes they get a super bloom. So that's what he had scheduled around. Last year we had a big super bloom. We had late rain. And it was apparently just blankets of gold and purple and everything there. So we didn't quite have the rain this year that we had last year. But there were still some flowers, not a ton, but there were flowers here and there. It was pretty. But boy, Matt found some really great out of the way roads. Bunch of roads I'd never been on, in the areas we normally ride. And then further south towards Carrizo, all sorts of dirt roads off in the middle of nowhere, crazy little towns, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's odd being in California and have to think about gas on an adventure bike,
Yeah.
But, Matt does a great job. He scoped out some lunch places ahead of time, which like in Coalinga, if you know where Coalinga is, lunch can be a bit of a challenge. But, Matt has these places to go. He knows where to hit. He knows, how far to go for gas, etc. So it was great. I swept the whole time, which I like to do anyway, kind of keep all the action in front of you. I like that. So we got down to Carrizo, and it's near, I guess, Soda, SODA Lake is kind of where it's near. And I think it's just a dry, like a salt flat is what it looks
Yeah.
like.
But it's soda, not salt. It looks like
Yeah.
a salt lake, like a dried salt lake. Yeah. Or like a salt flats, but it's
Yeah,
soda.
it looks like a salt flat. Yeah, it's interesting. So, I mean, you
Mhm.
can't go out on it. It's protected. But that's fine. So it's really pretty. I mean, you get back in there, it's very mixed riding. So lots of long, long sandy kind of loose hauls where you could open it up, etc. Although on the way in it was a little bit tougher because I had whatever, about 100 pounds of kit with the camping gear
right.
and everything else. Well, then, hey, we got to get firewood. So we're still like, what, I think 60 miles from the campsite. So I got to load up probably 50 pounds of firewood on the pillion, and strap it on so it doesn't go flying out, which wasn't bad till we hit the sand, and then we got a little bit more exciting. But again, a beautiful place in the rolling hills in Central California. And
You took the Africa Twin on this
I
adventure.
took the Africa Twin. Yeah,
choice.
which was, well, I don't do enough with it, to be honest
Mhm.
with you. I lean towards the 250 because it's, it's just less intimidating. It's lighter. Like I said, I spend a lot of time out by myself, so it's a little easier to deal with, at least mentally.
And how was it? Because you've gotten really used to riding your 250 dirt bike on your adventures. Now you're riding your CRF 1000. How was that?
It was a good way to build up to it. All the sand riding I did over the last month or two down in Ocotillo Wells and Johnson Valley, getting a chance to practice all the stuff that, like, keep going back to Jocelyn's class, but
Yeah.
that's where my teaching comes from. To be able to just get the repetition of doing it on the lighter bike, it's, a lot more confident inspiring. I think John might be able to speak to this too. So I got to practice a lot of that. And I mean, a lot of sand, especially in Ocotillo Wells. So getting into the sandy stuff here felt way more confident. The other thing I did, and I think it's a mental thing, took the windscreen off when I got there.
Yeah.
Which just made the bike feel more like a dirt bike. And in my mind, I tried to just remember all it is a dirt bike. It's 250 or 1000. It's the techniques are all the same. Just keep your eyes up, pick a line and balance. And it was actually a lot of fun, so being with other people was a treat because you took some chances you wouldn't normally. One of the funnest things was just hauling ass on loose sand and dirt. On the 250, you get to like 40, 50 miles an hour, at least for me, and it starts getting squirrely, light bike. But on the Africa Twin, we hit some stretches doing 70. And I know that's not really fast because guys go really fast in that stuff. But boy, the heavier bike just tractored through it. And you don't feel the washboard anymore. You don't feel the little stuff anymore. It's very much like a jet ski or a snowmobiling type feeling once you really get going. So that's stuff I never would have done before. I saw some of the other riders struggle with that a little bit just because it's time doing it, and also having some instructions so you have things to practice. So, the high speed stuff was a lot of fun on the big bike. And then most of the riding Matt took us on was, beginner intermediate-ish, I'd say. Some interesting hill climbs, some switchbacks, but nothing too brutal like gnarly ruts or things like that. But at the end of the second day, Santos, who's been on trips with Matt before, this younger kid, he's like 27, not tall at all. Anyway, he was on a
Triumph.
Yeah, thank you. 1200 Tiger. And he, at the end of the day, I still wanted to ride some more. It was he, me, myself, and another guy, Scott's friend. And like, yeah, let's go, man. And he took us all these little nooks and crannies back there, Liza, I think where you'd been there before. So this area where you camp, and you can find it on Hip Camp, has all these little nooks and crannies you can go in, hills and ups and downs and all sorts of fun stuff. So we spent, another good couple of hours, maybe not that long, but at the end of the day, doing much more challenging technical stuff. And but you realize so much of it's in your head. It's just like here's a good example I'll share. We were riding, it was a super long downhill to get out of where we were, just down and ruts, rutty downhills and just kind of long, right? So that was tiring. So those things, you're like, man, I hope we don't come back this way, right? Well, sure enough, we go back that way. So I remember there was a one uphill, and we're looking at it. It's kind of long, not too terrible, but had a couple of ruts kind of in it. So you had to be mindful of the ruts and where you're going to kind of pick your line and et cetera. And we kind of hung out there just for a second, but I could feel my heart rate going up just looking at it, right?
Yeah.
And I recognized, and I'm like, that's silly, right? I know what the bike's capable. I know it's not that hard. I know I have the skill set to do it. So I literally had to take a second to just start slowing my breathing down.
Is this the hill that comes up to the backside of the campsite from like where the bathrooms are? It comes up the back way.
Maybe, I don't know. We were
Yeah,
up and down
I think-
a bunch
yeah, I
of
think-
them, but it,
okay.
you know, it was steep, had a couple of ruts in it that you definitely didn't
Mhm.
want to end up in. But you know, you just do what you know what to do is you look up and you're like, hey, I'm just going to go up that line and stay steadily on the throttle. And the bikes just tractor up it. So, but I never would have done it by myself. So, you know, that if you ever think about going with a group, because a lot of times I do enjoy riding by myself, going with a group, you know, you really push yourself a lot more. So I would encourage it because I never would have done it. Then you do it and you're like, that really wasn't hard at all because the
Right.
bikes are just so capable and so much of it's in your head. So, you know, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, good variety, everything from sand up, you know, hill climbs and downhills and, you know, weird downhills into a funky wash back up in a turn kind of thing.
Mhm.
But then again, as long as you keep your eyes up and you have, you know, just steady throttle control, you don't have to go fast. It's just amazing how capable the dirt bikes are. You
Well,
know, yeah.
We had a great ride yesterday too, but it started with the big news. John got a new bike. Whoa.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it the past few weeks. About, you know, what's a good bike, and shout out to Paul Kelly who sent us an email saying, hey, can you let me know what are some good small dual sport bikes? I'm like, yeah, we've been discussing it for a few weeks now. So John, can you just recap what your options you were looking at were?
Yeah. So, you know, again, everybody knows I didn't get to name Stumpy for nothing. So I've been looking at certainly the DRZ 400, and we'll talk more about that, I'm sure. I've been looking at those. I looked at a WR 250.
Mhm.
I thought it was an R, but it wasn't. Ended up being an F. And I've been looking at it's a little bit out of my price range right now, but the KLX, you know, 250 or 300,
Mhm.
and then the Honda 250L like Jim has.
Yeah, and then I had thrown out and Michelle when she was here, the Super Sherpa and the XT 225 or XT 250
In a
as
TW.
good
Yeah.
shorter bikes. Because a lot of those bikes you discussed are taller, but people don't realize there are these shorter bikes that are just little goats and they rip and they're fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I ended up with an XT 225. Was it, you know, honestly, what wouldn't have been my first choice, but it fit. And it, you know, I'm not.
Wait,
you know,
what? What's that you just said? What? It was the right choice because it fit?
It fit.
Yes, I think
nobody's gloating in this conversation, are they?
No, because it came down to, in your discussion, getting a bike that had the engine that's more powerful that you want, like on a 400, or getting a bike that fits. And I said, unfortunately, in your case, you can't have it both. If you want to have a much lower seat height, you can't have a more powerful engine. They don't come that way.
Well, unless I want to like put lowering links on and just sort of mess with the
do a lot
suspension,
of work.
Which has a bit of a downside too, because I just put my my KLR back up to stock height because the lower, it just jacked up the geometry of the suspension too much lower than it. So
I'm glad you and I appreciate the fact that you did heed my advice and you were checking out every option. You were sending me links to all sorts of things, even like Chinese bikes at one point.
Yeah.
But you ended up getting the Yamaha XT225 and we took it out for its first ride yesterday.
We did, yeah.
How did it do?
First off, let me just shout out to Doug at Santa Clara Cycle Accessories.
Yeah, that's Jim's boy.
That's where I picked it up.
Yeah.
And they were wonderful and they helped really well. Doug was great. So if you're in the area of Santa Clara, drop by there. So I was really interested to see what it was gonna be like, because, you know, as great as cycle accessories are, there, you know, test rides are not available right now. So I didn't get to ride it like I wanted to before I bought it, but
Hey Jim, next time you're there, can you suggest to them to list their for sale bikes on Twisted Road and or Rider Share?
Right, that would
like a lot of other dealers are doing. Because John, you would have done that in a heartbeat if you could, right?
100%. Yeah.
Rent it for a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they let you. What they do is they have a buyback. So once you buy it, then if you don't like it within a certain, you know, hour, then you can bring it back and they'll trade it back.
Yeah.
So I did do that. So
Yeah, they're solid dudes. I mean, Doug listens to the podcast also, so he'll yeah, they're solid. Doug listens to the podcast, so he'll hear it. But I know, I mean, they go through all the bikes. They consign bikes there, right? And they usually have a bunch. I don't think he has a problem selling bikes. They seem to move them pretty good out there. But what I do like about them is I trust them. You know, I've known them for long enough now, and they do a lot of stuff on my bikes. But they go through all the bikes. You know, they make sure they're sorted out, they're safe, they're ready for someone to go and have a good time on. And I think, yeah, I'm glad.
I think in general, there's a lot of shops that are no longer doing test rides because of the insurance. It's just too expensive. And so listing it on Twisted Road and using their insurance for it, it just gives somebody more options to try it out before it fits. Because John, you kind of had to take a leap of faith,
right,
and just go for it. But fortunately, it turned out because you rode the piss out of that thing yesterday.
Yeah, that thing is, it's a lot more fun than I expected. Yeah, and then even going down, what we did is we went down to a secret spot, which will not be named.
Yes.
But we had to go on the freeway for a little bit and then jump off on the side road. So I was like, let's see how this thing does in the freeway. But, it was running 60, 65 without gassing itself. So that was good.
Well, and you said it had a pretty tall 6th gear, right? So it seems
it has a very tall 6th gear. Like
Emma, do you think that was specifically made so you could take those bikes on like a freeway?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because you said it had no gut whatsoever, but it didn't hurt the engine.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's that bike enjoys far more success actually in Japan than in America.
Oh.
It's a very, very desired bike, the Cero. It's actually named after a mountain goat, which I didn't know. I didn't even know what a Cero was.
That's what you were calling it, right?
Yeah, it's a mountain goat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and they're designed for rural communities that you can kind of honk up and down crazy mountain roads on them because the gearing is very low, but they give you this very, very tall top gear. It's almost like an overdrive.
Yeah.
Which means you can ride it on the freeway. It's a very, very clever little bike.
That's exactly the ride we were doing. And I took my KTM 690 Enduro, and Tad joined us on his DRZ 400. And it was the first really adventurous ride he's had since he had surgery on his shoulder. So he was a little, wanted to be careful. And of course, like all good rides, it started with sausage.
It did.
Really? Tell me more, Liza. Oh, Corralitos Meat Market.
Yes, Corralitos Meat Market.
Yes.
Yes. And then we went up to the secret spot, which and I went there last weekend. So I've been describing it, but I'm really enjoying it because it's a dirt road, like a fire road that goes up and over the mountain, way into the woods. And you get people like mountain bikers and just people going over it. But there's a certain section that a bunch of people have been going off-road, and you're just riding over through these like hills and in these redwoods. It's not a large area, but it's technical, and you got some mud holes and ruts and some hills, branches, trees you're navigating. So it's kind of technical. And one of my favorite moments, John, I think you got a picture of it, is I was leading and just exploring, where's this path go, as you do. You were riding slow. And that's the thing, because it's a secret spot where you're not supposed to be riding. I only take people up there who aren't like on loud bikes or riding fast. We're just kind of like exploring and chilling. And I turned at one point and I'm like, as I'm riding through the redwoods and like over branches, and it's got like thick covering of like just tree fallings, and I'm like, I'm not on a path. Like, I had that feeling like this is exactly why I wanted to have a dirt bike or an adventure bike, when you're actually off the path and you're exploring and you're in an area that nobody's had a vehicle on, And I stopped and made John take a picture because I was just like, it felt so good, to kind of explore, and you don't know where you're going.
That other little trail we went up was fun too.
So, which did get us in trouble at one point, because I think John said, "Hey, where does that go?" And I'm like, "Let's find out." Last words.
Exactly. But yes,
Which, Jim, you would have been so proud. You probably would have enjoyed it. It started out as a double track, like a truck fire road.
The Jeep
And
Trail,
we're
yeah.
just going into the woods, and then it starts going up the hill. And then it was getting narrower and narrower, but it's like almost like a jogging path in the woods. And then it's like, oh, now you got to navigate between these trees, and now you got a bunch of roots. You kind of got to jump your front wheel up over, and it's like, oh, got to go over here, and you have a steep drop off because there's like a creek down below, and then like the hillside on your left. So it's a path's getting narrower and narrower, steeper and steeper, and harder and harder to negotiate. And we're on calls, and I finally got to like the next obstacle, and I'm like, abort mission.
I'm glad John's smarter than I am. Usually I'm the one that you make go first. I'm the one having to figure that out. But I will say some of the most memorable and fun and best riding occurs because you don't know what's around that next turn or over that hill or up that hill. Because if you knew, you like wouldn't do it. You know, so sometimes when you explore, you end up doing stuff. Yeah. Kind of because you're forced to, right? Nothing crazy, but
when it starts getting that steep, if you don't keep your speed going, it can be a lot more dangerous. Because when you're stopped, the bike wants to like slide and you're losing control. And so I'm like pointing uphill and I'm saying, abort, don't come up here. And he was at a spot that was wide enough he could turn around. I wasn't. And I'm like, how do I get out of this? And this is where a lot of like training with Jocelyn and some of the other training we've done at Holster, it all comes into play at these moments. And I realized I'm going to have to go backwards down the trail, negotiating those trees and roots I just did. And I remembered, oh, right, you don't have to, if you're using the front brake, the bike just slides and you can slide right off the side. And I remembered, oh, turn the bike off, put it in gear and use the clutch like a brake where it's in gear and you can pull the clutch in to let it roll and let the clutch out and it'll get traction again. And I just slowly backed up and navigated out until I got down far enough I could turn around and we got out of there. So even though like we aborted going up there, I felt really good as a challenge that we both were on bikes that fit us and we were able to negotiate and get out of a potential situation.
If I was on the KLR in that situation, I would have been scared and freaked out.
Yeah.
So having the ability to, having a lighter bike was a godsend there for sure. And then to your point, being able to just like, even up on a hillside, be able to pretty easily pivot the bike around so I can go back down where that would have been a whole
being able to waddle with the bike and support it. And I invented a game there. I call it Catch the Weasel, but John keeps calling it Hide the Weasel, which I like to remind him is a completely different game, one that Jim plays.
I don't know. I think I'm going to pass on the next time y'all go up in the woods and play the weasel. Guys, I'll let you guys have fun with that.
Catch the Weasel.
Catch the Weasels. Hide the Weasel is much better. It really is because you're a weasel.
I will not play Hide the Weasel with you. Let me just put it that way. No, it was just fun.
Maybe you just have a dirty mind, and a weasel's nothing but a weasel. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and we've said over and over that
Richard Greer said
Oh no.
We've said over and over that helmet comms are a great thing to be able to communicate, especially
that.
Jim.
You say that.
No, like going up that trail and saying, stop, turn around, don't come up here, you know? But in this case, I used it. I was riding behind him. I'm like, I'm going to catch the weasel. Which just lit a fire under him. You can't catch me. And he starts tearing faster. I'm all going to catch you. And we were just having fun. And the goal was to catch the weasel and kick him.
Yeah, but you're such a cheater.
I am not
because we had Tad back behind us, and she would say, "Well, where's Tad? We got to slow down for Tad." So I would slow down, and then she came right up and kicked me and went, "That's just evil."
I never told you to slow down. I said I'm waiting.
No, that don't count as a win.
John, your new skill to learn is how to roost. Learn how to roost, then play that game.
I was trying. I don't know if I can roost.
But the portion that I told John ahead of time, I'm totally going to throw him under the bus. But I think, John, you will spin this and say that you were in fact right. I had said that I really think you should get a much lower seat height bike. It'll give you the confidence and the skill to navigate in a terrain like what we did, and give you the confidence. But I said, let's just to really sink it in and make sure that we're right. You got a DRZ 400 right here, Tad, do you mind if he rides it? John's reply was,
I'm not getting on that thing. I'm going to tip over on it, and it's not going to be good.
my reply was, it's a dirt bike. You can't hurt it.
My reply again was, Liza, don't do this to me. This is not going to work out well.
But as you all know, if I want something to happen, it's going to happen.
It happens.
No, I didn't let it go. I'm like, come on. Just try the DRZ. Come on. And John, well, and it happened on my Enduro too. It's the same thing. And this is exactly why it's good to have a smaller bike. John throws a leg over, gets on the bike. He pivots to the right foot so that he can put the kickstand up with his left foot. And the ground is not there immediately. So what happens is he and the bike fall over.
Yeah. Well, I did that to poor Mikey 3 times.
Which
also
normally doesn't hurt a dirt bike. What does hurt a dirt bike is when you hook your boot on the gas tank and slide your leg across it as you're falling over.
I told you that was going to happen. And
yeah, I know.
I was just for the record here, Liza didn't listen to me, so that was on her, not me.
He was right. But we had a lot of fun, just ripping it up and doing a nice long ride. And I'll tell you, one of the highlights for me also was seeing Tad grinning ear to ear. You could see it in his helmet because he had been hesitant to really do any off-road riding because of his shoulder recuperating. He did everything we did, and he was grinning ear to ear. So yeah, good ride. And congratulations on the new bike, John. I think you got a new one. That knock promptly broke today.
Oh, knock. Yeah, he knocked my helmet off my bike. He's like, oh, your new helmet, my climb one. And I don't wear it often, so I carry. He like tries, oh, it's really light, puts it back on the bike. 30 seconds later, falls off, goes bouncing down the parking lot. Oh, and then your tail light today, huh?
Yeah, Knock was just backing his bike up and just ran into John's tail light and knocked it loose.
No.
I've been knocked up.
I know. So, I bring this up often, going down some of these rabbit holes on YouTube. You guys do this all the time?
Yes.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what you're
Emma's
talking about.
search term is weird porn.
Yeah, I personally, I like weird porn.
Yes.
And I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, I don't recommend Googling that. Emma, I'm just curious. What is your porn name?
Miss Spankers Monthly.
Naked Jim doesn't need a porn name.
No, he's already got one.
I'm recommending Fill My Crevice for you, though.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, my word. But one of the videos that I was watching were crazy motorcycle races.
Yes.
Right? And I was like, sometimes you forget about some of these crazy sports that are out there. And so I pitched it to the Misfits. Let's talk about crazy, like motorcycle, scooter, trike, I said 2 or 3 wheel events. Now, crazy can mean anything. So I'll give you an idea of what I mean, and let's all just kind of share some of these crazy things. So one of the types of races that a lot of people may not have heard of is from Japan. You can always rely on them for weird stuff. It's called the auto race, even though it's a motorcycle. Are you familiar with the auto race?
Now, this is the one where they bet on it, like you'd bet on horses. Yeah.
Yes. This is gambling.
That is wild.
So it's a big oval track, and they are riding 600cc 2-speed motorcycles they're dressed almost like football players with these giant pads under their shirts. And then their handlebars are like in a, how do you call it? Like a Z, like almost like a stair.
Right. Well, the bikes themselves are asymmetric.
Like one handlebar,
Yeah.
the left handlebar is like 2 feet higher than the right grip.
Right.
And it almost looks like a Schwinn with a 600 cc motor in it, right?
Yeah. It's
With thin tires.
Thin tires, really tall diameter.
Yeah, it looks
tires.
like it's got like moped wheels on it. It's crazy.
Yes.
And these guys, because it's a betting thing, like going to the horse races, but you're going to the auto races, they have to live on the campus in these dormitories for like weeks because they don't want anyone getting any insider information. They're completely sequestered. It's crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. And then they ride these 2-speed bikes. And the thing that's interesting is they go to like 70 miles an hour, but they're holding that speed the entire oval track. And there's one YouTube video that's really famous, and it's one guy on one of these auto bikes, right? And then you got 2 guys on supermotos, and then 2 guys on like sport bikes. Sport bikes in the front, supermotos in the middle, and then this auto racer in the back. And they take off on this oval track, but it's not a big oval; it's a short oval. So you're carrying a lot of speed, and pretty soon the supermotos are able to carry a lot more speed because they're lighter through the turns, and they catch up. And then here comes that auto racer, and eventually he catches all the bikes and passes them all and wins the race. And it's the craziest thing to see a dude on these like little skinny wheels win the race. So that's a cool one you can check out. Who's got one that they would like to share?
I mean, if you want to talk about just sheer lunacy of the riders, Ice Speedway takes a great deal of beating.
Have you guys watched this?
Yep.
Very favoured amongst the Nordic nations, and I feel that these people who ride ice speedway bikes obviously had a career as being Vikings, and decided that burning countries, raping and pillaging wasn't dangerous enough, so they decided they were going to ride an ice speedway bike.
Now, these are the ones that have the cage around the wheels because they have giant spikes in them.
Because of the spikes. But you see, speedway, like dirt track, so we're deviating away from ice speedway. Speedway is all about a technique where you get the bike sideways. It's counter steering, getting the bike sideways, going around the corner. Now, ice speedway differs from this in it's entirely about leaning. And I'm pretty sure that the lean angles are the lowest anywhere in the motorcycle world. I mean, you're talking the handlebars are skimming the ice as they've got these things leaned over. It's absolutely amazing. And of course, if the riders fall off, they stand a chance of getting impaled by like 3-inch long spikes. Hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah, all right, that's a good one. Jim, what you got?
Well, we were talking about earlier. I think I might be stealing your thunder, but
That's all right.
I've been watching a little lately. Is the sidecar motocross racing?
This is crazy.
I've stumbled. I tell you what, Europeans they are motorsport fanatics over there. They have all sorts of wild stuff, but from the indoors trial riding, but the motocross sidecar racing is just crazy. And we're talking full on motocross. I don't know who any of the racers are, but it's high tech.
They're doing like 100-foot jumps.
Inside
these guys are serious, dude. It is serious business. So I've been kind of addicted to that a little bit lately, is the sidecar. I don't know what you win at the end besides, knee surgery or something, but the dudes are like rock stars. It's great.
Ooh, that's a good one. Bagel, what you got?
Okay. I have one that I don't know if a lot of people have seen this. It's OPA Racing. Now, the OPA is the 3-wheeled utility scooter truck.
It's a Vespa.
That Vespa makes, yes. Yeah. Which has like a little cab in the front and a little tiny scooter wheel in front of that, and then 2 little scooter wheels in the back that can have a little box on it or a flatbed or even tow a trailer or whatever. And people have figured out ways to race these out and have put like 600cc motorcycle engines in them from Hondas, Kawasaki's, Suzuki's, Triumph triples, and they will drift these bikes. They have these big slicks on the rear for racing, and they drift these things through the corners on little go-kart tracks, just smoking the rear tires the whole way through. There's even one that's decked out to look like a character from one of the Cars movies with the eyes and the face on the front. It's absolutely hilarious, and I can't help but think that it's seeing these things tear around the tracks. They look like grasshoppers on steroids. And it's absolutely a blast to watch. So look up OPA Racing, spelled APE, which is Italian for bumblebee. But OPA Racing.
And just to add, Jim, to yours, I forgot do you know what kind of engines they're running in those sidecar?
I don't.
They're 600 to 700cc two-stroke. They're big two-stroke engines to be able to haul that weight around.
Yeah,
that's why they're able to launch
launch like that.
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah.
Well, Bagel, I had one very similar to the OPA, and this is the Tuk Tuk Racing.
Oh yeah, yep.
Like Sri Lanka.
Are you talking about like the Cross India Challenge, or are you talking about like a racetrack racing?
Yeah, no, it's like Supercross on tuk tuks.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
CNN just did a feature on it. You can find it on YouTube. Nice. And there's tuk tuk, and there's just the same thing where it's a single driver in the front, and this is like a covered thing, and then you have a bench seat behind them, and you have two monkeys back there, right? And so the monkeys are hanging out the sides in the turns, barefooted, by the way.
Oh my god.
But the funny part is on many of the jumps, like the Supercross jumps, the tuk-tuks can't actually clear the jump, so the monkeys have to get out and push it over the hill.
Oh no.
And then catch up and jump back in.
Jeez.
It's hysterical.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Sri Lanka. They must be doing like Indonesia stuff like that. Mm-hmm. John, what did you find?
So I found in Thailand they have 100. It's called the NGO drag. They have 150cc drag races, and they're all per tiny little bikes, obviously two strokes. Mm-hmm. And they run them throughout the day. So during the day, they run naturally aspirated bikes, and in the evening, they bring out the nitrous. And so they're shooting these little bikes down quarter mile with tiny tires, and they're pulling 9.4, 9.5 second quarter miles on these bikes. But around all that, you've got fans lining everything. You've got massive parties going on. It's just this incredible event that almost no Westerners go to. That's like the complete scene. It was pretty cool.
They do something similar to that in Pakistan. I remember Moyne telling us about on these like CG 125s, and they take the brakes off, which I think is just part of like the challenge. And they ride sitting down, lying down on their stomach. And I think it's a challenge, like who can go the farthest, the fastest without like letting off the throttle. Oh, I don't know. It's crazy. I'm just going to say any racing with a sidecar is nuts. Yeah. One of the most amusing ones that I used to see when I go out to the Stockton, the little track there, the go-kart track, they had pocket bike sidecar racing. So already, those pocket bikes are tiny little bikes that you just,
Yeah, I didn't know they made sidecars that small.
They make these sidecars. You look up pocket bike sidecar racing, and your monkey is basically like hanging like over you or hanging out. But because the rider and the monkey are taller than the bike is wide, it pretty much turns become hysterical because they're just flipping all the time. Yeah, just flipping all the time.
Like your monkey would have to be the size of an actual monkey.
I know, you have to get an actual monkey.
Monkey.
How about Emma? You got any more?
It's as crazy as you want to make it. We've talked about this before, but when you think about the Isle of Man TT.
Mm-hmm.
This is a road race on road course. Bikes doing as good as 200 miles an hour next to a brick wall.
Right. These are races where people die.
Crazy as it gets. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I think the common denominator in all of the examples we've used so far, people can die quite quickly. Yeah. And none more so than in the Isle of Man. I mean, just as a spectacle, it's as wild as it gets. It's really from another time, another less safe time.
Yeah, and if we're talking about crazy, like because you could die, I think the big list, and tell me if I missed any, is Isle of Man, Ayresberg Rodeo. I mean, I don't know, people like die. I guess you could. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. The amount of people who attempt to do it and versus the amount of people that finish, right?
Right.
You've got the Dakar Rally, which people do die and many people don't finish. The Baja 1000 and Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
I mean, Marlon Dunn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Those are crazy because these are like big stakes. One of my other favorites to watch. Do you guys ever watch the crazy hill climbs?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's craziest one. There's a place, I think it's Andler in Belgium. Does that ring a bell, Emma? Have you heard of that one?
Yeah. I think it's Endler.
Endler.
Yeah, okay. And it's just crazy. But of course, hill climbs were immortalized on any Sunday.
Yes. Well, this one is specifically crazy because it's that most of the hill is stone.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yes. It's not like nice tore up dirt and grass like many of them are. This one is actually like stone face and big rocks you're leaping. And,
oh, excuse me.
Bless you. And when you don't make it and you're falling on rocks and your bike is tumbling down and there's no way to grab, like you can't stick your heels in. It's rock face. Yeah. That one, there's so many hill climbs that are crazy. There's another one I forget that has two like what do you call terraces that you have to jump. And a lot of people don't make the jump and they just plant into the face of the hill. What else do you guys got?
Well, back to the Isle of Man theme. Well, they do sidecars at Isle of Man too, don't they?
Oh yeah.
That's got to be. Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother level for there.
I know somebody whose sidecar ran into a building and he had TBI and trim and anyway, he's living out his days in a facility now.
Wow. But I didn't know about the Irish road racing.
I was going to say
the Northwest 200.
That is nuts. So that seems almost
kind of another level.
Just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than the Isle of Man racing. And those guys are in the rain, in the weather. It's wild. Yeah, and the fact that they've got 3 venues that they do it in, I mean, that's a lot of road to memorize. So yeah. You know, the other thing I've been watching lately, it's not motorcycle related, but we got to bring it back to America here. It's America Sports. And it's like on Maverick TV or Speed TV. I can't remember. I got new TV and I got these weird channels. I don't know what they are, but there's 2. One is Demolition Derby Oval Track Racing. So these are cars, right? Beat up Oldsmobiles and shit. I think it's in Ohio they may do it, but it's Midwestern stuff. It's awesome. So it's an oval track race, but it's combined with a smash 'em up derby. The last one I saw, the winner crossed the finish line doing about 2 miles an hour, just jerky and waiting to pick the flag because every other car was out of commission. The other one that's just as cool is they race the same kind of oval track, but you have to tow something or like an RV.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is, and they go until everything's flying off and broken and trashed. So that kind of redneck stuff I've been really enjoying. Not motorcycle related, but fun nonetheless.
What you got, Bagel?
Well, one that I wanted to bring back that we'd covered once or twice before is the motorcycle cannonball. Now I've done the scooter cannonball,
yes.
but the motorcycle cannonball, as insane as the scooter cannonball is, I think the motorcycle cannonball is even more insane, because that is like 16 days coast to coast on motorcycles that are 1930 or older, or actually before 1930. So, the amount of maintenance and challenge that is involved in keeping a bike like that going for that distance for that long is just mind-boggling. And my hat is off to all the guys who do that.
I think the hardest part is just not falling asleep on the thing.
Well, I think there's plenty to keep you awake. It'll shake you enough that you won't fall asleep on one of those, I bet.
Hey, Emma, I'm just curious. Which bike would you rather not ride? In the motorcycle cannonball in like a 1916 Thor or something, right? Or in the scooter cannonball on a 50cc like a Zuma? Which would you rather not do?
I would rather not do the 50cc, and I'll tell you why. You would be surprised about some of these older bikes. It's not 1916.
Yeah.
But a couple of my very, very dear friends tour around on vintage Indians, and they go back to the 20s and 30s, and occasionally, if I've been a very, very good Emma, I'll get to ride them. And they're just nice places to be. It's a big, relaxed bike. Whereas if you're on a tiny bike, it's hard work. I'd rather ride distance. I would far rather ride distance on a vintage, large bike, even going back to a 100-year-old bike, than on a tiny, tiny modern bike, simply because it's just so hard work.
And I want to give honorable mention to our own Chariot Racing, which is always fun to watch.
Yes,
yes,
at the
and dangerous.
Yeah, at the one show, they always have the mini bike racing that people keep throwing their beer cans at the racers, and by the end of the weekend, you're going through a mountain of beer cans.
Yeah, nothing takes out like a beer can, I tell you.
And at the AMA Vintage Days, the pit bike racing, which we still to this day talk about, one of our favorite race bikes, which was a little Trail 90 with a milk crate on the back and a water bottle bouncing around. We were so excited to see if that bottle was going to bounce out or not.
I thought it was the guy with one leg on the scooter with the strapped on.
Oh my God. And the barrel racing.
And he beat me.
What you got, Bagel?
I do have a couple other things I want to mention too. One that we have talked about a couple of times as well is Vespa Cross. Which, because I highly approve of using scooters for purposes that they were never designed for, and Vespa Cross is a perfect way to do that. And if you don't know what Vespa Cross is, there is a great article on Revzilla at revzilla.com/common-tread/Vespa Cross, all one word. Check it out. It's very cool. The other thing is Vespa Acrobatics. Have any of you ever seen Vespa Acrobatics before?
No.
Does
this involve a long ribbon on a stick?
No.
Okay.
Leotards?
This is a type of formation riding that was very popular and still is very popular in Europe among Vespa clubs there, where they will ride scooters like 3 or 4 in a row and have a pyramid of people stacked up between the scooters riding down riding down the road somewhere. And the different scooter clubs will do this thing and compete with other teams at scooter rallies to do these different formations and different things where they're like hanging off the bike. They'll have like 10 people hanging off of one Vespa going down the road. A guy will have the Vespa, riding the Vespa, he will stand up with just one foot on the Vespa, both arms and the other leg out, with just one foot going down the road. Like all kinds of crazy acrobatic positions that you were never designed to ride a scooter in.
Whoa. Oh, I thought of one.
Yeah.
The bagger races.
America. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
Everyone seems to be pretty stoked about this. I mean, talk about taking a bike and racing in a way it's not designed. Mm-hmm. I think that's what makes it like so fun. And they're putting so much money into them.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll do it again. Yeah, I'd like to see them do it again. I'd love to go check. Are they great?
They said they were. Yeah.
Are these on-road or off-road?
This is on the
On-road.
racetrack.
Laguna
Oh,
Seca.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they raced him at Laguna.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
pretty crazy.
I've seen people take like Gold Wings off-road before.
Oh, that's a thing
That's
too. These
freaking
guys are doing
hilarious.
motocross on the Gold
Yeah.
Wings. That's right, Bagel.
There's
Which
so
is
much
nuts.
crazy. I'm sure we're missing so much, but I
Yep.
just wanted to share with everyone because there's so many like videos out there and fun like sports that you can and follow that, besides the road racing that we know, and they're fun. And especially when they're things like Tuk Tuk racing, you're like, I can do that. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to make a couple quick announcements.
Hey, I'm gonna bounce Liza while
right.
I can. I still have to unpack my side cases and everything else. So anyway, lovely
Ciao,
seeing
Jim.
everyone. All right, ciao, ciao.
Thanks,
Talk to
Jim.
you later. See you, Bagel. See you, John.
Couple announcements. Just a reminder that the Santa Cruz Moto Film Festival is happening. We've released the tickets. You can get them at revsisters.com. And tickets are free for the first weekend. And this is on YouTube, so you can view it at home. Or just $10 for the extended viewing pass. That's over 2 weeks. One of the films that I just rewatched again today that I really enjoyed, it's called Banch, B-A-N-C-H. It's somebody's name. I think it's Banch. But this is kind of cool. It's the privateer Supercross circuit, right? So you got the Supercross circuit and you get to be names and you get sponsors and you can make a living at it. But to get to that point, you get a pro card and you got to, on your dime, load up your van, whatever, and travel around the country to these races. And they follow this guy who's just starting out. And it was kind of cool to see him like walking the track pre-race and going like, holy fuck, that jump is big. I don't know if I can do that. Like, he's like, wow, this is gnarly stuff. And just meeting other people, guys he's meeting who are also just new and seeing them, how they're living out of their van and just making it work. And like, if one of them makes it and qualifies, they like rally around to support him, And it was kind of cool to see that behind the scenes look at this life of people taking their shot at the big time, Mm-hmm. It is hard. Yeah. So revsisters.com, you can get your tickets there now. Another announcement. This is a big one. I shipped the swag.
Wow.
I'm still waiting for mine.
Yeah, shut
Nice.
up. For those on video, I've got my Motorcycles and Misfits neck gaiter and holographic stickers. To our Patreon subscribers, $5 or more, you're getting a sticker and a neck gaiter. And for $1 or to $5, you're getting a sticker sent to you. And regardless of where you live in the world, I shipped it out. That's
Nice.
right.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
Except for England.
Uh-oh.
What did we do?
Let me tell you why.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, I shipped to Australia, to Ireland. So I didn't know this. There's a thing, part of Brexit, that if you are shipping any goods, you have to get like a permit and you have to charge like a 20% like VAT tax or something like that. And you have to like fill out all this paperwork and declarations just to send a tiny envelope with a neck gaiter in it.
Wow.
So I got to apply and get a permit to be able to mail stuff. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I'm still trying to understand. So apologies to our friends in the merry UK. I haven't seen it yet because you all are being a pain in the ass.
I have a new set of pushrod seals for my Trident coming from England, so they probably won't arrive.
Well, it's stuff shipping into England.
It's not shipping out.
No, I don't.
Well, that's okay then.
I don't.
Maybe.
They're collecting fees and taxes on any goods coming in. It's all part of Brexit. It's funny if you read the USPS or US Postal Service, They actually say things like pain in the ass, like on their official thing. It's pretty funny. And then the final announcement, this is actually an offer that I am putting out there.
An oferta.
To anyone. And this is an interesting offer. If there's anyone out there looking for an adventure, I've got a deal for you. I need to get my new KLR 650 shipped to South Dakota. And I'm looking for somebody who's willing to ride it there. And here's what's in it for you. You get to stay for free at the Chalet Motel in Custer, South Dakota with our friend Michelle Lamphere. And I'll buy your return airfare back. That's it. Nice. So if somebody is looking for a motorcycle adventure and wants to ride a KLR from Santa Cruz to South Dakota, we'll cover your hotel there and airfare back. Simple as that.
Oh, that
awesome.
reminds me, Liza.
Mm-hmm.
I have a footrest for your bike.
Oh,
right. Yeah, because I stupidly supplied your bike not only with the pink slip signed in all the wrong places, but with a footrest missing. And as a responsible bike vendor, we're dealing with the pink slip, and I have a footrest for you. So it will actually be a complete bike soon.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, you're very welcome. The footrest is silver, and so I'm giving it a lick of black paint.
Oh, okay. I don't care about the color so much.
No, I know you don't, but a proper job, darling. It's a proper job.
So yeah, if you are interested in that adventure, reach out to me at recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com. So I wanted to talk a bit about the garage today. Emma, we had a big day. Bagel, too bad you couldn't be there. We had it was a zoo, literally. And we had a lot of old misfits show up.
Nice.
Mean Megan, now known as Mommy Megan, showed up with Jason and her baby Elliot. And then Electric Terry was there with Charger. And then Josh showed up with his Husky Zero.
Oh, boy.
And the Huskies were mounds of entertainment. They were having fun. Yeah. And
was Little there too? Was Little there
Little
too?
wasn't there. Sage came by in a very interesting exotic car. Emma, do you want to take a shot at describing this car that Sage had? Proceed and say that Sage likes to buy unique vehicles and that he paid us a princely sum of $1,400 for this. He did. You'd say that's a deal, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would say it's a fantastic deal. So Sage was driving a Pontiac Fiero, which a Pontiac Fiero is a very interesting little car.
It is.
In that it was kind of a unique specimen. It was General Motors mid-80s attempt at mid-engined. So mid-80s, mid-engined. Can't go wrong with that. If you've never seen one, it kind of looks like a clunky Honda MR2. Do you think that's fair? Kind of heavy-handed.
It's supposed to be, the poor man's sports car.
Right. However, that's only half the story because it wasn't just a Pontiac Fiero.
No,
it was a carnival. It was a carnival. So back,
that's a good
it was like the 4th of July on wheels. Or at least the Italian 4th of July. Because when I was a young Emma, we used to have a very prestigious rally come through my hometown. And among the many cars on display and were actually racing were these marvelous devices called a Lancia Stratos. And a Lancia Stratos it really looks like a bloody Ferrari, but it was a rally car.
Yeah.
And the Italian airline Alitalia actually sponsored Lancia at the time. So there were these marvelous Lancia Stratoses, which was kind of this Ferrari-looking thing, in white.
It had the Lancia logo, but instead it said Fancia.
Yeah, Fancia. Because it's fancier than a Lancia. And so it's this white car with Italian flag graphics on it, which is red, white, and green, of course, in all these fantastic shapes with bright yellow wheels, as per Lancia Stratos. So it was quite the thing, really.
Yeah, they were big off-road wheels. It had the three big spotlights on the front hood. It had the tire rack mounted on the rear engine hood.
Exactly like the Lancia Stratos of the 1970s.
It had all the graphics. It was a rally car. And then you got
I'm not used to having cars that are as flamboyant as my El Camino. And funnily enough, when I left, because I leave a little earlier to get back to Monterey in time for the podcast, I was actually driving through downtown Santa Cruz, and Sage was right behind me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because he left at the same time. And people were taking pictures because they thought it was a parade. You know, I think they some kind of carnival, you know, with this El Camino with these giant amber warning lights on the roof, and the fake Lancia Stratos behind.
And apparently the Fiero came with a couple engine options. This is the 4-cylinder engine.
Oh God, it's a 4.
It's a 4-cylinder.
It's gruesome. They are so slow, the 4-cylinder ones. They don't come with a speedometer. It's a calendar. 0 to 60 by next Tuesday. But yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, cool thing. Who else? We had just a ton of people there. A good day, and there was some people getting work done. But we had and a shout out, Emma. You just as you were leaving, you met Mel, Alyssa, who lives in Santa Cruz, came by for the first time and said hi. So shout out to Mel. But we had a new person to the garage, Amber, with her Ninja 250 that she bought recently. It's her first bike, and we've been through this over and over and over. When somebody buys a $500 motorcycle, we've learned there's certain things we're going to have to break to them, you know. We're going to have to break the news to them. And it's also, honestly, it goes back to why I started the garage in the first place. I had enough people saying, hey, can you help me find a cheap bike and fix it up? What's your budget? Oh, $500. I'm like, all right, here's the problem. You spend $500 on a motorcycle and that's your budget. That means you don't have the $300 for the carb clean, the $300 for the new tires, the $100 for the battery, you know, the $25 for the missing turn signals. You don't have the money to do all the things you need to do to a $500 motorcycle.
Right.
So instead, I started the garage by getting donated bikes for free and teaching the people how to fix the bike and spend that money on the parts and learning how to maintain it and having gone through the whole bike so they know what they have and how to work on it and are empowered through it. That was the whole beginning of Recycle Garage. So Emma, can you describe this Ninja 250 that was brought in? And before you do, there's another bit of the story. We reached out to friends of ours because this bike was over the hill and needed to be brought here because she couldn't ride it. So one of our friends offered to pick up the motorcycle and put it on their trailer, which is like a dirt bike trailer, you know, the kind that just goes in your hitch, not that just floats above.
Oh,
which unfortunately at some point the rear wheel bounced out of the holder.
Oh no.
And it landed on the belly pan, smashed the fairing, smashed like some stuff. The bike didn't fall off because the front was mounted properly, but it did some damage to bits. So that aside, and we just felt bad because, you know, when a do-gooder does damage and they feel terrible. So I just
no good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly.
Well,
so describe this bike.
Well, before we get into the description of the bike, I'm going to give a Motorcycles and Misfits top tip.
Ooh, these are good ones.
These are the good ones. So those hitches, those bike carriers that go in a hitch, they're a wonderful device. But tying down your bike is only half the equation. What you should do is actually take the extra bit of the tie down and wrap it around the tires where they go into the rack part for precisely that reason. Because when you actually tie the bike down, especially if you've got the longer straps, you've got this big long length of strap that's now not doing anything. It's gone through the buckle and you've pulled it down tight. Well, just wrap it very, very tightly over the wheel and under the carrier part so your bike can't bounce out. That's precisely what they're for. Because if you've ever followed one of those things and they bounce up and down, you're like, dang, that thing's going to bounce out. Yeah. And they do. Yeah. So there's a top tip. So it's a Kawasaki Ninja 250. I think it had been painted with a roller.
I think it was. It was mustard colored. Somebody painted over the bolts.
Yes. It was. It's kind of mustardy. It wasn't school bus yellow. There's a little more brown in there, sort of beige. I mean, it was a complete bike. But it's an absolutely classic example of how bikes arrive at the Misfits. I mean, a Ninja 250 is a low-budget bike. And when a bike gets to a certain value, people are loath to spend money on them. And so a lot of deferred maintenance goes on. A lot of bodging goes on to keep them on the road. And so you get a bike that's had all kinds of unspeakable things done to the electrics, is the usual thing. All kinds of unspeakable things done to chain and sprockets and brake pads and tires that are just so ancient, and non-op carburetors, and the whole gamut of things, and fork seals and droozling shocks and God knows what. And I think it had them all. But it is savable. Everything's savable.
Some of the things that I noticed, the tail section wasn't actually mounted down because somebody took up off the grab handles, which actually bolt in and hold the tail section in.
Oh, right.
So the tail section was held in by 2 bolts at the front. So the whole tail could bounce up and down. There was nothing holding it in. And the license plate was attached to a curved piece of tin on the axle. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no. You can't do that. No. It had the signs of people modifying, it had
customizing
mirrors. It had turn signals, LED turn signals built in, but the covers for the LEDs were all gone. And there's random wires with butt splices just hanging off of the bike. And also the key to turn the seat latch is gone. So you have to do these acrobatics of reaching up to reach the lever, which has been disassembled and just kind of dangling up. I mean, it's got all the things. And poor Amber, who came in thinking, I just need a carb clean. And it was then pointed out that there were fork seals needed. And I think somebody said, yeah, I think Michael was like, yeah, you're going to need fork seals. Well, how much does that cost? About $30. And Amber's like, I don't know. So, you're like, when somebody's like scoffing at $30, you're like, you know where they are. This is somebody who spent all their money to buy the bike.
Yeah.
Right. And then Micah points out, because they said, no, these are new tires because they look good, but they're 2014 and have signs of dry rot.
Right. So,
yeah.
There's no such thing as a cheap bike. Everything's going to need some degree of work for it, or you buy buy based on your mechanical ability or your friend's mechanical ability.
Yeah.
If you really have none, seek help or get a bike from a dealer that has a warranty. It's you summed it up. This is why Misfits was started, to get bikes like this on the road. So, wouldn't it be nice if every town had a motorcycle collective in it?
Yeah. And we're talking about making it safe.
Yes.
You need to make it safe. And, before even Emma really got to look at it, because we knew that Emma would start rattling off all these things, as you do as a responsible rider and mechanic. I said, Amber, you need to know what your number is. What's your budget?
Right.
I don't know. What do you mean? I'm like, you need to know in your head, what's your limit? Well, I don't know how much I can scrap together. I'm like, no, 30, 300, 3,000. What's your number? We need to know what your cutoff is, your hard stop, because that's gonna,
right.
It's going to determine if this project is going forward or not. And as we pointed out all this stuff, you could see visibly that she was getting very disappointed.
No.
And she started talking about walking away from it, giving up. Maybe she could sell it to somebody.
Oh.
Her friend was there to help her, and he was like, I'll buy it. Right?
Oh, jeez.
And she just got very deflated and down. And Amber, she came to me and said, just so you know, I also deal with anxiety and depression. And this is I thought that this was going to be the thing that could help me through that, is having a bike to ride. And now you're telling me it's going to be more money, more time. And this is really hard. And, you know me, I'm not somebody who coddles people. And I said,
really? Oh, I see you.
Never would have known
that.
I know.
No, Liza, don't sell yourself short, Liza. I see you as the caring, sharing type. I mean, you really are you're like the night nurse of us all.
I went and put on my Snuggie so I could give some huggies. No, I just said, you know what? I said, you're not giving up on it. This is exactly the reason I started this garage, for bikes like that and for riders like you. You've got all these people here to help you. Me, Micah, Emma, all these other people. You've got the resources. You're going to see this through. And when this bike is done, you're going to have a bike that is safe to ride. And you know this because you put your hands on every part of it, and you are going to know how to fix that bike and how to do things. And you don't know now, but you are going to be so empowered because you are going to save that bike and learn so much in the process. But you need to figure out how much money you have to work with, and then let us know so we can help you figure it out. You don't have $200 for tires, then we can, ask around to some of our friends who change tires for some that have 40% left on them, There's resources we can help with. But you are sticking with this, and you are going to show up here every Sunday and get it done. And we will see that you get it done. And she did. She came around. I think she realized, as so many of the misfits and the people who come here realize, there's a whole community here wanting to help. And once you realize you're not alone in it, but that people have your back, complete strangers who meeting you for the first time have your back, because we're riders and we're looking out for all the other riders.
Right.
That's
exactly.
what we do. And it was really cool to see her turn around on that.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it's I'm always willing to donate my labor for free for people, and our time down here. But the one thing we can't donate is parts money.
Yeah.
I simply don't have the facility to give people parts. So, hopefully she can find the small amount of money she needs for the parts, and then we'll do one thing at a time. I showed her how to pull the carb, so the carbs came off. And unfortunately, she just had a shot the day before. Vaccine.
Your vaccine shot. And there's about halfway through the day, she started getting like, "Ooh,
I think
go home."
I think she was suffering a little bit from getting tired because she had the one shotter, she had the Johnson and Johnson, and from what I've been hearing, it's you know, if you get the J&J shot, it's knocking you around a little bit. So I think she boxed up all the carburetor parts, and then we'll come back next week, and I'll help her reassemble them. And
I'm looking forward to seeing
the flat spots out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one through. Again, this is exactly why we do this, and we have so many resources to help her and to make that bike run right.
But unfortunately, I didn't spend as much time on it today as I would have liked to, because it was one of those days where it's like, oh, Emma, and I was running backwards and forwards like a headless chicken and not really being able to concentrate.
We can blame Charlie for that.
Yeah, it was mostly Charlie. but again, we'll get that race bike running well. I mean, Charlie bought himself basically a full race CBR 600. We don't know the history of this bike. And the idle is a little bit crunchy. I suspect more through the cam profile than anything else. But I'll see if I can get the chunk out of the idle and get it at least idling reasonably.
You know, I love it when he runs that bike. Do you know why?
Why?
The smell of race gas.
Oh, God, it's intoxicating, isn't it?
I love the smell of race gas. It is nice. Hey, another announcement. Hey, if you are in Northern California, you want to come join us next Sunday. Big news. We're doing another suspension workshop with Jason of JP Hans. Bring your bike down between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. And for $40, he'll set up your suspension.
And that is a big deal because you have no idea how shitty the suspension is on your bike until you get it set up properly.
That's the truth.
Well, I think John can speak to that effect right now.
Yeah. Well, in what regard?
The
every bike I get, I gotta fix. Yeah.
So he was here today, and he gave you some tips.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big guy, so that's a cute little bike. So it's kind of. He said it was set for 130 pounds.
Stop playing with whatever you're playing with, John.
I got a long way to go. I'm a long way from 130 pounds. So.
The suspension is pretty soft on that.
It's super soft, yeah. So he told me about, I kind of had a feeling I was going to need new springs, but he gave me a good tip on where to go and stuff.
He gave you good news that you don't have to change out the shock, just the spring. And that's something a lot of people don't think about either.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that with my KLR. It's a lot of work, but it's so much cheaper to buy a whole new
Emma, do you have one of the spring compressing tools?
Yes.
Can you bring it next weekend in case Jason is busy? Because if John's able to get a new spring, we can swap that spring out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm happy to.
I appreciate it.
Do you know what my spring compressing tool is?
Actually, John, you know what we could do? We could do the zip tie trick.
God.
Yeah, there's a great zip tie trick.
I don't know the zip tie trick.
Don't listen to Liza. It's a good way to lose an eye.
No.
On the springs?
Yeah, the zip tie trick.
I saw someone do it with a tie down one time.
So, or a tie down. So on the zip tie trick, because all you have to do is compress the spring enough so that you can remove the tension and get the clip off. And what you do is you start putting zip ties on the coils, and each zip tie it's pulling it down a little more, and you keep tightening them as you go. Bagel, have you ever done this trick?
No.
Yeah, and then you end up getting like 50 zip ties around it, and they've crunched down and that like one set of coils down together, which gives you enough. Yeah, it's Emma. You've done it before, right?
Yes.
See.
No, I must admit, I am quite feeble when it comes to springs. I used to have a like a chain, not like a drive chain, like a chain and padlock chain, and I used to use that and kind of hold the springs in place while I wound everything on.
I have no idea how you use a chain on the spring.
Yeah, don't worry.
I went and got spring compressors. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are tools.
Yeah.
But hey, it's open to the public. And John, I think hopefully you're gonna get some suspension work. I'm gonna get my 690 set up. I had the Africa Twin done last time.
Yeah, I want to get the Tiger set up.
Because your new graphics, Liza, on the 690 have changed the specific gravity of the bike, I feel.
It has.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is big news. And wait, did we catch up on all the things? Did we talk about all the things?
I think we may have talked about all the things.
The KLR, the films, the Carrizo. I think we talked about all the things. That means it's email time.
all right.
Good.
You guys are going to like this one. I got an email, and this one, really, you're going to like this one. And this one is from Noah Tittle. Noah says, "Hey, Misfits, I'm a big fan of the show and a motorcycle enthusiast myself. I'm currently 16 years old, and I live in Arkansas and have been riding motorcycles since I was 14 when I bought myself a 250 Rebel. I'm currently riding a 2002 Kawasaki Nomad 1500, and I love it. It's one of the bikes I'm fixing up to sell to make a little money on the side, but I think I'm going to enjoy it a little bit before I do. I love the podcast and all the work y'all do. Keep it up." You guys, there's a 16-year-old riding a Vulcan 1500.
Wow.
Sweet.
What I love,
that's great.
Rock on.
what I
He's
love
driving the girls crazy.
is that yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
That's right. The girls dig it, huh?
that's right.
Yeah, you don't want to be riding a Rebel 250 picking up chicks.
No, but a 1500.
1500.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, wait. You can pick up chicks on a Rebel 250. They're just different kind of chicks.
Yeah.
You know?
Chicken. They're like real chickens.
Wait a minute. John, isn't this how you met your wife?
On a chicken?
Hey, you want to
farm?
ride?
No, that's how I almost broke my wife by taking her riding. That's why she won't ride anymore.
Oh, man.
So, you guys got any other updates on anything other than we're getting ready for the one show? Oh, we still have to finish. Really? We still have to come up. All right. Yeah. One show. What are we going to have people do? Kiss the ginger?
I think so. No, I think let me think, because we really need to come up with a competition.
What about the ginger snap things or
No. I think you need to come up with your best sketch of Bagel's beard.
Wait, what?
You need to sketch Bagel's beard, and you can do it in pencil. You can do it in a writing pen. You could do it in a Sharpie.
Bring your watercolors.
Any medium. Any medium. You can do it on the back of a cigarette packet, business card, whatever. But you need to do a sketch of Bagel's beard. And the best sketch of Bagel's beard. And we're going to compare it to Bagel. He's going to be in person. So we're going to be holding up the sketch right next to his beard. Social distancing, of course. And the most accurate representation.
Well, wait a minute. Is this going to work? Because we're going to have masks on.
No, that's fine.
Right,
because we're going to use our imagination. We're going to use our imagination.
I got it. How about this?
All right.
There will be no kissing the ginger. You just have to walk up to Bagel, find Bagel, and say, kiss a ginger, 25 cents.
Okay, if you just say it with the mask on, okay.
All right, that's all you got to do.
And
you got to say it like Emma does it. Kiss a ginger.
Kiss a ginger, 25 cents. And to dovetail into my competition, if you have Bagel's beard actually drawn on your mask, I'm going to give you a bonus prize.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
So we're gonna have to be carrying around prizes, but I got prizes.
Yeah, and I got prizes too. I'm going to have a little bit of swag from MotoTown. And bear in mind, the MotoTown swag I'm going to be giving out, MotoTown isn't even open yet. So this is exclusive MotoTown swag.
Opening weekend.
Opening week. Well, it's not the opening weekend.
Yeah.
I do not officially open MotoTown until I get my business license from the City of Marina. However, even if I was to get it tomorrow, as unlikely as it is, my grand opening would not be until Tuesday. Is it the 4th of May or the 3rd of May?
I think that's the
3rd.
I think so.
Yeah, I've already got a full day.
Yeah.
But because, of course, we'll be driving back from your heist.
Tuesday the 4th.
Tuesday the 4th. Tuesday the 4th of May is my earliest day that MotoTown is open. But nevertheless, I will be distributing swag to Kiss a Ginger, 25 cents. With
Kiss a Ginger.
Ginger with Bagel's beard on your mask. And, there's no drawing on a beard like 30 seconds before you walk up to us. I'm going to be observing the people whose beards are drawn on throughout the show.
And for those who haven't seen pictures or video of Bagel, I would describe him as a cuddly ginger with a dapper hat and a luscious ginger mud flap of hair.
You think a mud flap?
Oh, he's got the mud flap going right now. Turn around, Bagel. Turn around.
Oh, in the back, you mean? Yeah.
That's a mud flap. ain't nothing else you can call that but a mud flap.
I can't get.
It's got a little mullet going on. Yep.
It's not a little mullet. It is not.
But,
and that's not the mullet because I haven't had
So just look for the ginger mullet.
There you go. So Emma, if somebody gets like really creative and spends some time at home and comes with a mask that has high levels of creativity, is that allowed?
Oh yeah. No, as long as you wear it throughout the show. I mean, I
gotta wear it throughout the whole show.
Yeah, no, I expect people to put some effort into this.
If you actually show up with a mask with a Bagel's beard drawn on,
mask,
then you actually do get to kiss the ginger.
No, there will not be any actual kissing happening.
Bagel, what if you're vaccinated? Will that help?
No, it will not be any kissing.
No.
Bagel, you are such a taken man. A year ago, you would have been all over this deal.
Yes, no, he would.
He would have.
Before the pandemic, sure.
No, it's nothing to do. Someone has stolen Bagel's heart from us.
Yes. Yes, this is true.
And her name is Persephone. How is your cat, Bagel?
Oh, well, Persephone is doing well.
Yes.
She's very very happy. Finally starting to get used to the other cat. Although he's still being a butthead. But
that may be a lifetime thing.
This is true.
I would never be so forward to ask about your girlfriend on the show, Bagel. I mean, if you want to share, you're welcome to do so, but I would never be so forward as to ask.
She is doing well, and she will be coming down with me to visit Santa Cruz in a couple of weeks.
Oh, good-o.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think that's wise? Because we're all staying at your house on Sunday night. Yes. And if she meets us ahead of time, she might actually decide that.
Oh, well, she's looking forward to meeting you when you're here.
Wait, is she a ginger?
No, she's not.
Oh, so we can't kiss her. Okay. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you one other update today. That Sage was up to some shenanigans today that I discovered at the end of the night. Really? Did you know about this, Emma?
No.
Were you party to this?
No.
I know he got at least 2 of my bikes in knocks. So there's probably more.
Did you get penises on your valve stems?
No, which I did that to somebody. It might have been John. So I did that to somebody recently. I don't even remember who it was, but there's somebody going around with a penis valve stem right now.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're flying penis stickers. And they're tiny. They're tiny penis with wing stickers that look like a bit of mud got on your, like they're teeny tiny.
That's
you get really close and go, what is it? Oh my heck.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
That's great.
I found it at least, I found it on my Africa Twin and one of the KLRs and on Knox Bike. So heads up, if you had a bike at the shop today, you may want to
go check it.
look over
You might have gotten
some sort of kind of a weird cancerous mole looking thing. It may or may not be a dick with wings. Just want to give you that heads up. And if you know where I can get a hold of some of these stickers, please email us at recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com.
Because we got bikes to dick.
They're quite brilliant. I think that wraps it up. I mean, I think everyone's just pooped. You got an update?
Let me plug one thing. No, let me plug one thing.
Go for it.
I don't know if you had a chance. This is a spoiler alert on MotoGP. Let me just say that if you haven't watched the races, then tune off right now. Okay. If you haven't seen Moto3, go watch MotoGP Moto3, which is the young kids on the smaller bikes. It is absolutely insane. But last week, Pedro Acosta got penalized, started from pit lane, worked his way all the way through and won the race. It was like one of the most exciting races I've ever seen. So I'm just plugging MotoGP, but skip down into Moto2 and Moto3 and see some of the younger people because the races are phenomenal.
Are they they're riding the 400s?
They're riding the 400s, yeah.
But not the KTMs now. These are the are these Kawasaki's? What are they riding?
I think they're the Kawasaki's. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're not on the KTMs anymore. And
Yeah.
Triumph is in Moto2. They're the triples or that engine.
Fun stuff. Thank you for that update, John. And just as a reminder, remove all things in front of you when you're recording. If you're wondering what that clanking sound is.
I'm Italian. I got to move and do things.
It's so funny because both like you and Emma, you're both like, Emma's always like moving and like things are rattling.
You need 2 stress balls to keep your hand.
I know, right? That'll be the next swag I come up with. Motorcycles.
Well, if I was naked, Jim, I'd have access to the stress balls.
2 of them, exactly. So I think we got to wrap because Emma's losing her light.
Oh no.
I'm fading away, darling. I'm fading away.
And I've had a couple people email me to ask about t-shirts if I still have them. Yes, I still have them. The design is on our Facebook page, and I still have some of the ones before that, the black with the red and white motorcycles and misfits, a couple, I think extra larges.
I always like that design, you know.
Yeah, that Knock design.
It's a great design, and I think, and I might get Knock. You know, I might throw some money at Knock to do a slight redo, perhaps with the green instead of the lime green instead of the red.
Oh, I have that behind me over there in the corner. See that? The lime green.
There you go.
Bike stand.
There it is, yeah.
That looks great. We should do a few t-shirts. We should do a limited edition run of the old style.
Well, yeah, I got to get rid of these. So if you're interested, it's $25 shipped to you. So that includes the shipping. And you just send a PayPal to recyclemotorcyclegarage@gmail.com with the size of shirt you want. I'm out of some sizes, but if you send a PayPal and say what size you want, I'll just refund you right away and give you a note if we don't have it. But yeah, I got some left. I think I'm going to take some up to sizes if you kiss a ginger. Exactly. So big thanks again to our Patreon subscribers. That's how, what pays for this swag that I'm sending out to everyone. These cool neck gaiters that we did that double as a mask so that we can go to public places. And thanks again to all of our listeners out there, especially all the ones that email and the ones who drop by. We had so many people come by. It was such a fun day. On that note,
just like the old days.
Just like the old days it was.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice.
Nice, see?
Edward G. Robinson. Okay, see?
We're going down.
Michael Garage, see?
I think it's time to get out of here. Thanks, everyone. This is Liza.
Bagel.
Emma Darling.
Stumpy John.
And we're out of here.
Cool.
Cool.